Have you ever stopped to think about what's really happening in your life? Are you where you want to be? Or are you running away from something that needs to be faced? The truth is, things often don't happen by chance. What we see as bad luck or external circumstances is often a reflection of choices we've made, or worse, choices we've avoided making. And one of the biggest traps we can fall into is this: running away from our responsibility. Imagine a scenario where every time a problem arises in your life, you distance yourself, try to ignore it, or delegate it to someone else. You might even feel temporary relief, but that relief comes at a price. What you don't realize is that while you run away, the situation worsens. You distance yourself further and further from your true mission, from what needs to be done, from the only thing that can truly change the course of your life: responsibility. Responsibility is what defines your destiny. When you decide to face your responsibilities, you take control. It doesn't mean things will become easy, but it means you are creating the conditions to change, grow, and evolve. However, many choose to run away from responsibility. Whether out of fear, shame, or lack of self-confidence, they prefer to ignore what needs to be done. And that's where the mistake lies. Because while you run away from your responsibility, you let life control you. If you don't believe me, think about situations where you've put something off. Maybe a difficult conversation, an important decision, or even a simple commitment you avoided. What happened over time? Did the situation get better? The answer is obvious. The more you avoid it, the worse the situation gets. And the reason for this is simple. Responsibility doesn't disappear. It's still there, waiting to be faced. And the longer you ignore it, the harder it becomes. But what's even more curious is that, by running away from responsibility, you create a vicious cycle of procrastination, inaction, and self-sabotage. This is the pattern many people live by, and they do unrealize they re-distancing themselves from the only thing that can give them true freedom. The act of taking control. When you shirk your responsibility, you are, in a way, surrendering the power over your life to something or someone. You allow fate, circumstances, or even other people to decide what will happen to you. And again, this may give you a false sense of relief, but it traps you in a cycle of mediocrity. Every time you fail to act, you move further away from your purpose. Every time you fail to act, you place yourself in a more vulnerable, more insecure position. You might be wondering, but what if the responsibility is too heavy to bear? What if I don't have the strength? The truth is, often it's when you feel you have no strength that you most need to act. This happens because when you refuse to take responsibility, the weight of life becomes even harder to bear. Every time you shirk responsibility, you put more pressure on your shoulders, even if you don't realize it. And in the end, you find yourself stuck in a life that isn't yours, living on autopilot, simply reacting to circumstances instead of creating your own path. Now, imagine the opposite. What if, instead of running away from responsibility, you started facing it head? What if, instead of hiding from your problems, you started acting, even in small ways? The magic of responsibility lies not only in what you do, but in the power you gain by doing it. By facing challenges head-on, you take control of your life. You no longer depend on luck or circumstances to shape your reality. You begin to create your own luck. This decision to take responsibility can be daunting at first. You may fear what lies ahead. But the truth is, the moment you decide to be responsible, you begin to empower yourself. You begin to gain clarity about who you truly are and what you want for your life. Because, contrary to what many believe, responsibility is not a burden, it is an opportunity. The opportunity to finally stop hiding, to finally break free from the cycle of reactions and begin to be the creator of your own story. Of course, the journey won't be easy. You'll face obstacles, failures, moments of doubt. That's part of the process. Responsibility doesn't mean you'll have total control over everything, but it does mean you'll be in control of how you react to everything that happens. And that changes everything. Instead of feeling powerless, you begin to see each challenge as an opportunity for growth. Instead of hiding from fear, you learn to use it as fuel. When you decide to take responsibility, you also decide to accept the consequences of your choices. This is liberating because it means you have the power to change things. And more importantly, It means you have the power to not depend on anyone else for that to happen. You are solely responsible for your destiny. I know you might be thinking, but what if I don't know where to start? How do I handle so much? How do I face all of this? The secret is to start small. The secret is to take the first step, even if it's a timid one. The secret is to make the decision to stop running away. The rest will happen when you commit to change. When you do that, life starts to respond differently. Doors open, opportunities arise, and you'll realize that responsibility, instead of being a burden, becomes the greatest ally you could have. Now, I want to hear from you. What are you doing to take responsibility? What areas of your life have you been avoiding facing? Comment below and share your experiences. If this content resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue receiving tips and insights on how to change your life for the better. The journey may be difficult, but it begins when you decide to stop running away from your responsibility.